Uh-oh. The last cookie.
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
You are listening to the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast, my favorite podcast to listen to on long flights across the galaxy.
This is the way.
We're wanted men.
Welcome to episode 236 of the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. I'm Glenn. Jason's over there. Jason, did you get that cord fixed?
No.
Okay, awesome.
I'm going to try not to touch it and get near it or anything. Like, I'm going to try to avoid making loud popping sounds and making the cord mad. It even looks like it's a little crooked right now, but we'll see. Okay, I just touched it.
Oh no. Yeah. How's your I don't even know where to start this week. I'm freaking, I guess the time change has still messed me up. It's a jury day, so I ended up sleeping way too late and grabbed a cup of coffee, and now we're recording.
Yeah.
So how's things going, Jason?
Things are going well.
Yeah.
I got something from Hasbro today. It hasn't arrived yet. And then I'm working on something, but I first have to pay something else off. So in a couple weeks, I'll have something new to talk about.
Dude, I don't know what it is, but it's like people know when you can't buy anything or when you're not in a buying mood, because that's when everything starts showing up. That's when you start getting the, hey, I've got this for you, and hey, I've got this, and it's all good pieces, and it's like, and then nobody else is buying, so you try to move stuff, but yeah, I'm in the same boat. Thankfully, I've got somebody has a piece that will look really good in my collection. We'll look one focus, so he's like, I'll hold it for you, and we can work it out. And thankfully, it's not that much money. It's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money type.
Not
situation.
Thousands of dollars.
It's not that. It's hundreds, not thousands.
Yeah.
So that's good. And then I had other stuff that were thousands of dollars that were offered to me that I'm just like, and I had to pass on. But yeah, it's been a rough couple of months for buying, because you got Toylanta coming up, and I'm trying to save a little bit of money for that. And then you get these people that I don't mind. Don't ever stop offering me stuff, please. But it does stink when you're trying not to buy stuff and stuff comes your way. But
did have a humorous moment last night, and I gotta be quiet because I don't want my son to hear.
Uh-huh.
But he had friends over.
Yeah.
And he took them into the Star Wars room, and they were looking at the cabinets where I have things labeled from, Action Fleet, and none of the vintage Star Wars stuff is labeled.
Yeah.
But I'm watching from the camera, like, oh, is all the stuff in these cabinets vintage? Whoa, 1996. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. 96. They're freaking out about that. That's like, I was 16. It's not it's not much.
Right.
It's all relative.
Right. And it's funny because I do the same thing when people are in, if I know people are in my house, or I know, stuff, you watch through the cameras just to see their reaction. And yeah, people are always like, oh my God. But yeah, they don't understand the thing, because I had somebody contact me through Facebook, and he was like, I just bought this house or something, and there's a bunch of Star Wars stuff in it, and I have no clue. And I'm like, hopefully you got 80, 70s, 80s stuff, because if you got 90s stuff, it's basically worthless, relatively worthless right now. Yeah. But I'm like, dude, send me pictures. I can help you out. But, if it's 90s stuff, you don't have a gold mine. You may have like a,
Well, Again, like what Kelly was saying,
Yeah.
90 stuff is selling, so
Yeah, actually, I got some 90s stuff. I may need to dig out. I'd helped my singer move a few months, like a year ago, and he just handed me this box of like 90s stuff that I probably should dig out and see. Maybe I can move it.
I I did see someone Photoshop the Red Hulk, which Harrison Ford played in Captain America and Brave New World,
Yeah.
into Han Solo from Power of the Force 2.
That's funny.
It is funny.
That's real funny. Yeah, I didn't buy anything this week, but I got some important news.
What's that?
I get to go to Epic Universe next weekend.
I thought you couldn't talk about that.
I can say that I'm going. I can talk about I can't take any pictures. Here are the rules. I can say that I'm going. I can say that I've been. I can talk about the stuff that people know about, and I can't take any pictures or post them on social media. So like I can
Meter.
say slash, huh?
Your your Louisiana accent just went to a whole new place. Meter.
Meteor.
Can't post it on social media.
Meteor. So like Celestial Coaster, everybody knows about Celestial Coaster. So I can talk about that. But there are rides that they haven't announced yet, and I can't talk about any of those rides.
You can't talk about Harry Potter or the Universal Monster ride.
I mean, I know people that have know about it, but I don't know. Yeah, like
I don't think there's anything that they have. I don't think there's surprise rides. I think it's just what's inside the rides, the storylines, the
yeah,
animatronics.
that kind of stuff. So, I did my son was because my son works in the park and he was talking to me about one ride that isn't announced. So, you can't really
Oh,
announce anything. So I'm gonna play it real safe on the next recording and just be like, yeah, it was epic. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I was talking to my son about it and I told him, I said, this is like a once in a lifetime thing for me because it's something I've been wanting to do all my life because it's like, how cool would it be to go to a theme park or go to something before anybody else does? I know you got to go to uh, Galaxy's Edge years ago, um, but like, there's going to be nobody in that park, so
yeah.
there's not going to be any lines. There's not going to be any, I won't
There
have to
won't be
fight the
any
crowds.
social media influencers that you have to push aside to get through to the line.
Right.
That's the thing that I just can't. The obnoxious social media influencers.
Yeah, so this is no social media influencers. So um yeah, because you can't do it. And I don't know. I know the park opens the end of May. So I don't know when if they're going to do social media stuff before that. I know they are looking for um people to cast people as um people to film people in the park. So they're looking to people that they can film in the park that they'll give a exclusive access to. But as far as that I can't really, I won't be able to get really into it until the end of May, but I am freaking ecstatic about it. So I'm gonna get to go. He got me Friday and Saturday tickets, so I'm gonna take Thursday, Friday off work, drive down, and drive back up Sunday. I'm gonna pull a Jason 4-day trip to Florida.
Yeah, but that's a little bit different than New York City.
Yeah,
It's easier to manage.
yeah, it's like 6.5 hours. Yeah, I don't know how you do those trips, man. Those like New York City trips, those 12-hour trips over a weekend. That's some crazy driving.
Yeah, no sleep,
Yeah.
no functioning
Dude, yeah,
at
because
peak
you're
levels.
normally it's like 10 o'clock. You're like, dude, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of tried to embrace the whole not sleeping thing and preparing myself and figuring out how do I make the most of sleeping.
You have to. It's like, yeah,
Otherwise, my brain just doesn't function like it should.
yeah. Dude, I know I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. I was so tired on my solo trip from when I went in 23 that when I went to Velocicoaster and I saw Chris Pratt, I was like, why is he in Disney World? Or why is he why is he here? He shouldn't. I'm not in oh, am I in the, I'm in the no, I was like, why am I in Disney World? Am I in the wrong park? I was that tired. My brain was
Yeah,
just that fried.
yeah. It's kind of a quiet news week. They did announce the panels for Celebration Japan. Um, One of them will be the Mandalorian and Grogu, so I'm sure Filoni and Favreau will go out and talk about the show and talk about the movie, show a trailer, have the cast come out, introduce like what's the guy from the Bear? He'll come out. Sigourney Weaver will probably come out and do a limited like, oh, she's like an Imperial, and then that's all she could talk about. Anybody else from the cast will come out.
Yeah.
Those,
And then they'll have Grogu riding one of those BDX droids.
yeah, something like that.
You know, I was
Uh,
listening to I was listening to Jordan's podcast. I didn't realize that was a BDO droid because it's just so much bigger in real life because they've got to make room for all the mechanics of it.
yeah,
I didn't
it's
realize, huh?
it's the same family. It's just not the same from the game.
Okay,
It's the same family of droid. It's a BD droid, but it's not like BD1. It's BDX. It's like
a different version. So
same but different.
yeah, so it's slower and fatter because they had to fit the mechanics inside of it.
Yeah, and it's real world. It's not a video game where the droid can just jump from shoulder to shoulder. Like,
Right. You know, I don't know if I'd want one of those droids riding on my shoulder. They look kind of heavy.
but one of the BD droids did appear in The Mandalorian at one point. So it
I'm
was in
sure. Huh?
it was on Tatooine. What's her face? Amy Sedaris' character.
Okay.
She had one in her little shop there when they were building the N1 Starfighter.
Right.
So it was more the BD one from the video game. These are BDXs, which are slower, but they're cuter. They have a lot of personality, which I like. I like when droids have personalities.
You're right.
A lot of R2's personality comes through C3PO, and so you really need the two of them. But the BD droids alone, just the way they look, they're kind of like Wally.
Yeah. I can see that.
So I like it, and I can't wait to see them in the film. And hopefully, he'll make a stop in the movie to Galaxy's Edge to Batuu because again, that needs to be part of content.
I think they're gonna have to. They're it's their hands are gonna be forced to make Batu canon. I mean, I know it's already canon, but they're gonna have to do something to where Batu's focused more because they need to get people there.
Yeah. There will be a Hasbro panel, but this morning Yakface on Saturday posted that they expect another live stream for the vintage collection by the end of the month. So I mean, if they're revealing everything now, what do they have for celebration?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of stuff. I didn't think there would be a lot of product because from everything that I hear from like their quarter 4 reports at Hasbro and them talking down on Star Wars in general, I just expected them not to have a lot of offerings.
Right. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna end up doing. What I'm curious about is, and this is a language barrier thing. Are they gonna do it because it's in Japan and obviously they speak Japanese? Is it all going to be in Japanese and then they'll have English translators there, or
I
are you
don't know.
just SOL and you got to figure it out on your own?
Well, maybe they stop in the middle. They do have translators, but in general, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't go, so
Yeah, I'm not going to Japan either. Like I said, if I was going to Japan, it'd be for more than celebration, um, because I learned that lesson for California. You know what? And speaking while we're on Hasbro and like all the repacks and everything, Hasbro, I'm working on Outlaws, and I've gotten to the final stage of Outlaws where the main character Vi is in a stormtrooper outfit, and it's like, why didn't Hasbro do that? If they're going to be that lazy and do Cal in an Imperial outfit, Vi is in a stormtrooper outfit for longer than Cal's in an Imperial outfit, and it
yeah.
would have just been a head swap.
They haven't done much to support Outlaws.
Yeah.
Hasbro's, I guess maybe Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order are stronger video games in terms of sales, and that's why Hasbro is or Lucasfilm's like, no, we want you to support this one because this is the one that people seem to buy and support.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a fun game. I know when I got to the final point where because you get to the final mission and it'll let you know, hey, if you go through this mission, you can't do anything else until you're done with this mission. So once I'm done with this mission, I'm going to go back and try to play it some more and do some of the side quests. But I just always feel with those games that I'm always forced. I got to go finish the main mission, and then you miss a big portion of the game doing that.
Yeah.
But
Um,
it's a fun game.
So maybe eventually I'll get to it. There's a rumor that GTA 6 will have a new trailer sometime before April.
Uh-huh.
The game's supposed to come out at the end of the year, and I'll need a new system by then. And so hopefully, when I get that for GTA 6, I'll get it for Outlaws. I'll get Outlaws at that point.
Yeah, Outlaw should be dirt cheap at that point.
Light and Magic will have its own panel. That's the show that
Deep
dived
dive,
into.
deep
I think
dove.
it's dived. I think we're gonna go with dived. Dived into the whole process of making the original trilogy. There's a second season they announced this week.
Really?
Yeah, and it's going to be about the prequel trilogy and all of the stuff that went into that, making those the prequel movies with CG and model making, and there's a lot
Interesting.
there's a lot more models in the prequels than people realize.
Right. Well, the prequels, I mean that I've heard that the prequels were had a way, yeah, like you were saying, shoot, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but there was a ton of pre of that stuff in it. It was like the pod racing, all those people were little Q-tips,
Yep,
so it was all practical, a lot more practical effects.
yep. Lucasfilm Publishing will have a panel telling stories across culture, Star Wars and Japan. They'll be looking at the history of storytelling and art and pop culture in Japan and how it's influenced Star Wars for nearly 50 years.
That'd be cool.
Lucasfilm's 20th anniversary. The interesting thing here is that not in addition to talking about 20 years of Lucasfilm animation, they're going to have a preview of what's to come. And so remember a couple of years ago they were hiring animators for LucasArts. Was it LucasArts? No, Lucasfilm Animation. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
LucasArts is gone. Um, and so we'll get a preview of what's to come. And I don't know what people have asked for, like a Clone Wars style Luke Skywalker show.
Ooh,
I kind of want them to leave the era of the Clone Wars
yeah,
and Bad Batch and Rebels, and let's go to another corner, not Resistance corner, but let's go find another corner.
yeah.
Um, the expanding Star Wars galaxy through plastic models. Doug Chang will do a panel. That's all Friday. Saturday will be Andor, a Star Wars story, so they'll do something there about season two, and they might even show, the first episode. Ahsoka will have a panel, so
Ooh,
it's a little too early for them to show off anything for season two, but maybe they'll have the cast come out.
yeah. Well, I mean, they got to do something because it's uh I mean, it's celebration. Sorry.
A conversation with Oscar Isaacs. He'll come out and they'll talk about being on board at Star Wars for 10 years. There's no
Right.
10-year anniversary panel for The Force Awakens, unfortunately.
It's been 10 years. Wow.
It's been 10 years, yeah. Screening of the Caesar Mandalore. That'll be part of the celebration
That would
stage.
be cool to see on a big panel, on a big screen.
And then on Sunday, there'll be a first look at Star Wars Visions Volume 3,
Yeah.
which I understand is more like the first season. So it'll be more Japanese anime than the smorgasbord, the charcuterie board of season two, if you will, where there's
Right.
a bunch of different things. Um, that's an interesting metaphor. Disney's experience building the galaxy with Walt Disney Imagineering. So maybe they'll show off what's coming next. I doubt that for that, but and then the Fett family, there'll be a conversation with Tamora Morrison and Daniel Logan. 50 years of celebrating the ILM, a screening of Star Wars Rebels finale, that's interesting. And then closing ceremony, which I was trying to do the math. If they're a day ahead of us and they close on Sunday, that means it's Saturday for us.
Yeah.
So if there's a closing ceremony and we know about it on Saturday, we should be good on Sunday
Right.
to I just don't like being in limbo with things. And if I'm
Right.
trying to,
No, dude, trust me. I feel your pain because I've got so much limbo right now in my life that it just is driving me batty.
yeah. So to have an official word about what's next in celebration would be very beneficial to me.
Yes.
I I guess I could talk about this because I'm not going to name names, but the information is all over the place. the one piece of information that I got from people is that 2027 will definitely be the next celebration.
Hmm.
But because one person said Anaheim and the other person said Orlando, I don't know if I could trust any of the information, but they both said 2027.
Right.
One person kind of does logistics,
Hmm.
the other person knows people.
Yeah.
And
And you're
so
just, dude, I
I don't
think
know.
anybody, truthfully, it's 2027, flip a coin as to
So
Anaheim or Orlando.
I'm
I
just
mean,
looking
I
for
personally, I mean, on us, because we're 8 hours from Orlando, 8 hour car ride, it would be a lot better
how
for
slow do you
Orlando.
drive? 8 hours.
Or 7 hours or whatever,
I could be there in 6.
if you don't stop.
Yeah, I guess you don't stop, but
It's sick because I put in my son's this is great. So yeah, I put in the address for where for next weekend, just put in our and it's like 6.5 hours just last night trying to figure out new things. So
oh,
yeah.
I did before I went to New York, I did put on because someone had posted online that if you watch one episode a week of Andor, it'll lead into the first episode of the second season. So I
Mhm.
sat down to watch the first episode, and then before I knew it, I had watched 6 episodes.
Wow.
And then when I got back from New York, I just finished them all because it's maybe the best storytelling of
It's
Star Wars.
pretty yeah, Andor is pretty freaking awesome. I'm really looking forward to the next season. I'm more impressed that you were able to sit still for 6 hours.
Yeah. I was just able just to sit outside and watch them, and yeah, it was pretty. Like I said,
Oh,
it's the
there
most
you
most sophisticated, maybe. I
mm,
don't know. I don't know because there's actual storytelling.
right.
The characters' motivations don't change. I was watching The Lost City last night with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, which is a
Hmm.
romantic comedy. But Tatum plays this dumb guy who's like a Fabio cover model of romantic novels.
Yeah.
And he's dumb, but then halfway through the movie, he starts to become smart and like a traditional action hero. And I'm like, this doesn't seem like the character. Does the character suddenly switched to, like I said, being smart? And uh, that doesn't happen in Andor. All the characters are as smart as they are from beginning to end. There's some sacrifices they make along the way, which makes them more compelling characters. I think Mon Mothma's character is probably the most interesting of Andor, which is weird to say because it's Mon Mothma.
Right.
Who would have thought she had that much depth?
Well, it also with Mon Mothma, you're learning how many games she had to play. You know, how much balancing she had to do between the Empire and the Rebellion, and uh, the juggling. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
How much juggling she had to do to get there, and she had to. I don't want to say not sacrifice her
yeah.
husband. That's the wrong word,
No,
but
she does.
yeah,
She
I-
does.
yeah,
She sacrifices her marriage. We'll put it that way.
yeah. Because he's
Be-
a loyalist, right? He's an
yeah, he,
imperial.
he's yeah, he likes the Empire. He's a loyalist to that, and he likes the high life, and she's living this double life. And I think she wants to try to make her marriage work, but in the
Mm.
end, the only thing she can do to save herself because she's moved money and the Empire's on her tail. They've, switched out a driver that's essentially a spy for the Empire,
Hmm.
and so she's being trailed everywhere. And the only thing she knows what to do is to blame it on his gambling, which he's not gambling, and but the driver doesn't know that, and
Yeah,
so she basically implodes her marriage for the sake of the rebellion.
right.
And she sells off her daughter.
Yeah. I need to rewatch Andor, man.
She's
It's
yeah,
been a minute.
she sells off her daughter to help with the charitable organization, which means just moving money around for the rebellion.
Right, which basically she ends up letting her marry somebody like they used to do in the old days,
And
right?
then yeah, and then Luthen blackmails her with
Oh,
Aldani
yeah,
and basically is like, no, you're stuck with this now and there's no going back and you can't back out. Like she has no choice. Her back is up against the wall, and the only thing she can do is just try to fight her way out.
yeah,
I do think the show worked better as as a 12-hour movie than it did a single episode released every week.
right.
And so like what you're saying is before we were talking, you were talking about season two and how they're releasing 3 episodes a week, and so we're basically getting 4 Andor movies for 4 weeks,
Yeah.
which I think is going to be awesome.
Yeah. The only part that stinks is you're going to have to sit there for 3 hours to watch it or 2 hour. You're going to have to block off. But it doesn't, you're going to have to block off 2.5, 3 hours to watch it. But guess what? Most of the nights you're watching TV, you're in a 2 hour watching it for 2, 3 hours anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty good for blocking my calendar for the 3 hour Star Wars movie. We're good. Or sorry, 3 episodes. It's about an hour and a half Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I think that'll do. Um, I think they're smart doing that because it as a society we've gotten to the point where we don't like cliffhangers anymore. We want to know because it's just been and it's with streaming, it's gotten to the point where you just binge it
Yeah.
and you just there's a cliffhanger. Hold on a minute. The next episode and you're like, oh man, it ends in a cliffhanger, and the next thing you know, next episode. So you hit play next episode, so you know what happens. There's no waiting a week to figure it out anymore. And I think they're smart doing it that way.
And with Andor, it's not so much about cliffhangers that it's like, yeah, I want to see what happens next, but it's not something as compelling as like I'm gonna pull out a gun and hold it to someone, and then the camera cuts and you have to wait a week to see if they pulled the trigger. This is just more tension. Like,
Right.
how does this get resolved? Where do they go from here? It's not the same kind of cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Um, I thought Luthen is pretty interesting as a character too, because he's essentially setting up the Empire. The Rebellion.
Yeah.
Um, he's got one of the best speeches in all of Star Wars, and it ends with "I'm burning my life for a sunrise I'll never see."
Yeah.
Like he realizes that he's not going to see the day when the Empire falls and freedom is restored to the galaxy. And we know that for a fact because he doesn't even appear in Rogue One. He doesn't appear in Yavin. He doesn't appear in Return of the Jedi. There's no mention of him. So he dies at some point, and he does exactly what he said he was going to do. He's going to sacrifice his life for the rebellion,
Yeah.
and he'll never see the day when the Empire falls,
Yeah.
which I think is beautiful. It's beautiful
Mhm.
writing.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. When does it come out? April?
April 22nd.
Wow.
And some of the editing is top notch. Like at the end of season episode 3, when Andor is being taken away with Luthen to join the Empire. This is after like everything happened on Ferrix, and he's joined up with them to go to Aldhani to do that whole mission. It's intercut with him being taken away with his mom. Geez, can't remember her name.
Uh, don't ask me to remember names.
Yeah. Once I get done with this episode, I'll remember.
You'll text me and be like, here it is.
Yeah.
Or somebody just wrecked their car and they're like, no,
I can look it up. But his mom, they intercut.
Oh, there it went.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine, dude.
You can probably hear me on the computer.
Yeah, I can hear you on the computer.
Hold on.
If anybody wants to send Jason a new mic cord, there you go.
Yeah, they intercut so that he's being taken away to the Empire, but then at the same rebellion, at the same time as a kid, he's being taken away by his mom to join. Essentially, he's just moving on to the next phase of his life in two different ways. And then when he gets taken to Narkina 5, the prison, you see him get locked away. At the same time, Cyril Karn, who's chasing after Andor, it takes a business job, and he's a desk job, and he's stuck in this desk job. And so they're both in a prison of sorts. They're intercutting so that Andor is literally in a prison, and Cyril is stuck in another form of prison, which is just a desk job.
Right. No, I thought that was some awesome writing, and it takes like someone like you who's used to that has the English major, or that knows to look knows what all the stuff means to be like, look at it this way, and you're like, oh, you're right.
Yeah, and there's another Easter egg that it's pretty obvious, but when Bix is being tortured in the hotel,
Uh-huh.
they do a same shot as when Princess Leia is being tortured on the Death Star. where the
Right.
door slams shut, the camera turns, you see an Imperial walk down the hall.
Ooh.
It's like a shot for shot, same kind of movement for that whole thing. So, which I thought was interesting, but I don't think you need to be a genius to figure that out. It's if you've seen Star Wars a billion times, you're going to recognize that shot.
Right.
And then the last thing I wanted to mention was Deidre. Is that how you pronounce her name? I never say it right. Anyways,
The
Deidre Mero,
ISB agent.
yeah,
Yeah.
the ISB agent, and Cyril.
Mm-hmm.
These are two people that love the Empire so much and have given up any sensibility
Uh-huh.
that I think they do love each other. They're very attracted to each other. They'd be great together, but the Empire's in their way.
Right.
And there's a couple scenes when their sense of instead of saying how much they love each other, they're expressing their sense of duty to the Empire, where she's diving deeper into um, her role as an ISB agent. Get your hands off me. I got to do my job. Don't get in my face. Like what she wants to say is I love you, but instead she's just saying like this is my job. I have to do my job. And he's like, I gotta find Andor. Instead of saying, let's go out on a date, let's go find Andor.
I just had a flashback to Princess Bride where he's just like, what he really was saying was, I love you.
Yeah.
I don't remember the words, but I gotta take a break real quick. Jason, I'm looking in your background and what is that tree Lego looking thing right next to Snaggletooth? That's new,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's the Deco tree from Breath of the Wild, Zelda.
Okay, cool.
It's Harrison's. He's remodeling his room. We got to put shelves in there, and so to keep him safe, I've got that over there, and there's another piece over here, up there. It's
Okay,
just,
I see it now.
yeah,
It just is hiding better than the other one was.
yeah. So
Cool.
you got to take a break.
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no. I
you're just
wanted to
breaking
take a
from the
break in
conversation.
speaking because I didn't want to forget to point out, ask what that tree was.
Yeah, it's temporary. It's a temporary place.
So back to I Love You in Andor.
That's all I had to say about that.
Okay.
But even climaxes with them at the end kissing, Cyril can't help it,
Yeah.
and he kisses her, and she can't even bring herself to say thank you. She's like, I should say thank you, which is not, which yes, she said the word thank you, but
Right.
she's not thanking him. She's like, I should say thank you, but I'm not gonna
Yeah. Because
because of,
I'm Empire. I
yeah,
gotta
because of
stick
her
up my
duty.
butt.
Yeah, we're not allowed to fall in love. We're not allowed to have emotion with the Empire. It's about control, and they have to control their emotions and their love.
Almost like a Jedi.
Almost, but not quite. But that's all I wanted to say about that. Andor is probably some of the best Star Wars writing ever. I'm really excited about season two. They had a live stream this week with several of the actors, and they couldn't reveal much, but one thing that did come through is like everyone's love for season two and their characters,
Mm-hmm.
which says a lot about the show and about the writing and the sophistication. And I'm really excited. Hopefully they knock season two out of the park. Tony Gilroy seems to know exactly what he's doing. And he's got strong sense of character development and where the show needs to go. There's apparently a nod to Rebels in this.
Well, there
Um,
should be a ton of nods to Rebels in Andor season 2.
there's a I wish I had it in front of me because I forget the name, but there's a an incident that happens where there's a slaughtering of people,
Uh-huh.
which is why Mon Mothma protests and leaves the Senate. She steps down, and then the Empire chases her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is it called? I can look it up in a minute. Um, but it's mentioned in Rebels, and that's the reason why she leaves the. But I guess in Andor season two, we actually see it.
Wow.
We're going to see that moment, and I guess Tony Gilroy was saying there's different ways in canon that this has happened, but
Mm.
there's no definitive way. So he said he was excited to see how this plays out, this incident where people are murdered. There's some sort of slaughtering of a people because of their protest or something. The Empire just comes in and wipes them all out.
Okay.
Genocide. It's genocide.
Yes.
And that's what Mon Mothma steps down for. And it's mentioned, like I said, in Rebels. I'm going in circles.
Right. But was it mentioned in Rebels, Jason?
It was mentioned in Rebels at one point, like the Gorman massacre. I'm sorry.
Gorman man. Okay.
It's a it's a genocide of people, and like I said, Mon Mothma steps down and blah blah blah. But that'll be shown, which is interesting.
Right.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about was the lack of Princess Leia.
Yeah.
I felt like and this is just my headcanon growing up. I just assumed that she was in the same situation as Mon Mothma, where she's in the shadows doing rebellion stuff, but out front in the Senate representing Alderaan.
Yeah. I wonder if they are trying to keep the story on the Andor characters versus throwing Princess Leia in there and taking the focus off of all the Andor characters and putting it on Princess Leia.
Maybe I just
Or they're working on a Princess Leia show.
no, no, I don't want that. I don't want the deep fake the whole time.
No, they would have to get Millie Bobby Brown to play
Millie
her.
Bobby Brown. Um, but I just felt like her role with the whole rebellion and the formation of it would have been more upfront,
Mhm.
more in your. I guess I just saw her more in the foundation of the rebellion than what Andor shows.
Right. I'm trying to. I don't know if I think I remember there being something like that, but I don't remember where. I don't remember if it was books or I don't remember where it was to see it, but it might have been a book, but I don't remember. Don't wreck your cars, please.
Well, there's a Bloodline book, but that takes place after Return of the Jedi, I think,
Okay.
where it's exposed that her father was Darth Vader, and people try to use that politically against her. Basically, she's part of the Empire.
Yeah.
You can't trust her. She says she's for the New Republic, but her dad is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's a Andor, like I said, sophisticated writing. Can't wait for season two. We'll just have to break it down movie by movie.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how K2SO comes together. I My theory is that I thought this back when season one came out is his droid, the red droid.
Yeah.
That droid, the personality gets just entered into a KX
That's
droid,
interesting.
and so that's how they have the history together.
Okay.
It's because it's a droid that he's known since he was 5 or 6 years old.
Right. It's just like the Millennium Falcon when they put that droid
Yeah,
in her.
they just do a personality change, and maybe he gets more confidence because he's not just a little droid that rolls around without arms and legs. Now he's strong and tall, and but he still has the same personality as before. He's just got more confidence now.
That would make sense. I mean, it's not the wouldn't it be the first time we've seen it.
So yeah, that's my theory. We'll see if it happens. And then Jerry posted a shirt that kind of said spy, and it had the two images of his red droid and K2SO. So
Oh,
we'll see. We'll see.
yeah.
That could be a spoiler. I'm sorry if I spoiled it,
Doggone it, Jason.
but it's speculation. It's not a spoiler. I can't say that I know this for a fact and I'm bringing it to you. It's just my
Your theory.
speculation, my
Right.
theory.
Cool. Well, I guess we can. Well, no, never mind. I was like, Toylana's. No, we had 2 weeks till Toylana. My brain is just so fried right now. Anyway. Do we have more you want to talk about with Andor?
That was it.
You know, I'm just curious. This is more going back to toy related news. I've seen posts of the chopper as a spy.
Yeah.
Like people are buying, like somebody had one on a card for sale. Those aren't out yet, or unless you buy a case, or what are those out, or what's the deal with that?
No, I mean, well, yeah, it usually hits the Asian markets first and then they come over to the US.
Okay.
So a lot of the times when people buy them or they have an early like YouTube video reviewing the item before it comes out, they usually buy it from eBay from the Asian markets and they get it that way. So they physically get it before everyone else, but I mean, they're just like weeks behind.
Okay.
So I expect I got notification this week that it's preparing to ship from Hasbro Pulse. So I think I should and same thing with RS Sing, which I just picked up at ZoloCon. So someone must have got an early package somehow from Hasbro and
Hmm.
I mean we're just talking like weeks here. It's not
Right.
really that much of an exclusive. It's just a race to YouTube to look what I
Tech
got. Everyone click this, check it out.
Clickbait. Well, the thing that also I'm curious of is like mine from Amazon. I won't get it till May 5th. Oh, May. You know what? Shoot, we're already. It's not that far off. Never mind.
No, it's like a month away.
Okay, my
Month and a
brain, like I
half.
said, my brain is really messed up right now.
Dedra, that's her name, not Deidre, Dedra.
Dedra.
But this the likeness on this figure is just phenomenal. I
Hmm.
know you can't see it here.
Yeah.
But that's the figure I got this week. So yeah, I did pick something up this week. It's Dedra Miro. Um, but the likeness, like I said, is just amazing. It's they've really picked things up. But this is the figure that hasn't been released yet that I was able to get on ZoloCon,
Yeah.
which is a good figure.
Yeah, that's a cool looking figure. The only thing that throws me off is that thing sticking out of her head, that
The
antenna or
antenna,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah. What's wrong with it?
I don't know. It just throws me off. It's not appealing.
That's how she can listen to the punk rock that Ahsoka listens to, except it just not Ahsoka, Sabine listens to. It's just
Sabine.
right into her head. She doesn't have to have headsets or anything or speakers.
Yeah. Um, so when we were talking about uh so I think I figured out what Natasha when I met her at Dragon Con when she was saying she had to go record. A couple of weeks ago, she announced on her Instagram that she was in a like an Australian comedy or something. She was in like an Australian show. So I
Oh,
think maybe that's what she was recording at the because it just came out. So the
oh, okay.
timeline would line up that she went to record that show and she wasn't recording Ahsoka.
Well, she should have said like I'm recording something before I record or film Ahsoka.
Right.
She didn't need to make it so convoluted where it's like I gotta go do something and make it
Right. That's
seem
what it
like
sounded like. It
I'm
was
gonna
like,
go run off and shoot Ahsoka season two.
right.
And that was the confusing part because I think at one of the panels she said like we're gonna film in April.
Yeah.
There's a chance that they're about to film because they've already casted Balin Skull,
Yeah.
and so there's a chance that in the next month or so they're gonna start filming and they'll have something to show
Yeah.
at
I
the
mean,
panel.
because I mean, it's at Star Wars in 22, they had only been filming a couple of weeks and they
Yeah.
had stuff.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm sure that if they want, if Dave Filoni wants to make us lose our minds, he'll record just enough to to be able to show like a 2 minute trailer
Hmm.
that nobody will get to see unless you were in the panel.
Maybe a teaser of the brother, or maybe we'll see. We'll find out who plays the brother and the father,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
or because I'm pretty sure that season two will end with someone replacing the father, the brother, and the sister.
Yeah, but didn't they say that they wanted him wrapping it up? Or
Yes. Yeah, because there's no guarantee for season three. So I don't expect cliffhanger or anything like that. They're gonna wrap it up and hopefully his heir to the Empire movie will wrap up the whole Mandoverse. Be able to move on from there.
yeah, I'm still thinking they dropped the ball on the prequel on the sequel trilogy, not doing Heir to the Empire. But maybe they'll finally correct that.
We don't need to rehash that. I
You're
apologize for talking low. I don't want to upset my microphone. So if you're like, why is Jason
good, man.
whispering? It's because I don't want to pop it
Yeah, you're fine.
again.
Again.
I got to figure out what kind of cord this is and replace it. But
Yeah.
I know it's only a 45-minute episode, but do you have anything else?
I don't think so. I think everything's good. We got Toylanta at the end of the month. What is it? What days are Toylanta?
I got to prepare for that. I keep forgetting to pull out the TV to check it for the slideshow. I keep forgetting that I need to finish up the trivia and
Yeah,
no one will show
28th,
up to.
29th, and 30th is Toylanta. I did if that helps with trivia, we have a trivia pursuit uh Star Wars edition.
Yeah, I have that too. I was
Okay.
trying not to do that. I was trying to keep it Star Wars collecting.
Right.
But I might get desperate.
Yeah, it would be I don't think anybody would care. I mean, do something like that. But the only part that it is going to be like at night during a thing. Yeah, that looks awesome, dude. Hello there.
Yeah, George Roy was asking me like, how do I choose to do so I'm holding up a life-size head, half of it of Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he was asking like, how do I decide how do I choose like a life-size versus a Black Series figure for some of these prints,
Hmm.
and all will be revealed soon. Hello
That looks
there.
good. And it you were saying that took like 45 hours to print?
Yes. Yeah, I think
Uh,
it's just the detail and the thickness of the wall. It's a little bit thicker, and I changed some settings for the supports because like I printed it upside down.
uh-huh.
So when you print things, anything that's an overhang, like his ear right here, kind of
Hmm.
overhangs. And so you need to print supports. So the supports were all different. And yeah, it took 45 hours to print, but
I
I
mean,
love
it
that.
looks incredible from here. I mean, I'm sure if I see it in person, I may see some imperfections, but from here, it looks great.
But like you said, it's all going to come down to paint deco. So I got to really focus
Yes,
on that.
freaking paint deco. But dude, you're like, hey, look, I did this, and it looks like crap 1 minute, and it's a piece of art the next.
My favorite, my favorite is the Godel. This guy is he's just awesome. And I
you,
furred him out and
you should put like some speakers in them and have it like a screaming goat.
no, I'd put uh Jim Brent Jim from SNL when he did Goatman.
Oh yeah.
The SNL skit where he's just like, tell me a little about your day.
That would be funny.
Yeah. Oh man. It's not easy doing a podcast, people. Like when you're trying to bring a point across
Uh-huh.
and you're trying to remember facts and figures, what's more important in your brain, the point or the facts and figures? Because offline, I could tell you all the stuff that I keep forgetting right now. We can be having a conversation. And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, Jim from what's his name? Jim B from SNL. He did Goatman."
Hmm.
Or Aldani or whatever the case is. I can't remember names on a podcast because I'm being recorded and
Right.
it's not
It,
written down in front of me.
it is funny once you get that bright light, those lights hit, and you know you're recording, you forget everything.
Yeah,
It's like, oh crap, it's real.
it's real. So just give us some grace.
Yeah. I
Don't
think
yell at us.
people definitely do on our podcast because they know we're not well produced. We're not we're not making money. So they're like,
It's also not easy to do a weekly Star Wars podcast when there's limited news and limited stuff to talk about. So
right.
when we knock it out of the park, and I think there are some bangers, as the kids would say, like the last one we did with John Trainer, like
Yeah, I think we do. I mean, yeah.
that's a pretty awesome episode that hardly very few people listen to.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the listenership, but I mean, we get, let me see, episodes. We were hitting about 200 and now we're averaging 150 to 175.
Yeah,
And 146 people saw that interview.
yeah.
So, and it just, yeah, I think we sound pretty good. I think we've got our stuff together as far as a podcast. Yeah, the shoot, what am I going to say? I'm trying to say pick my words better, but so if you guys are I know if you guys are like me and you love Rebels, the Taylor Gray, Vanessa Marshall, and Tia got together to do a podcast. So they're doing a Rebels rewatch.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's so fun. But like Tia is like sounds like she's talking through her computer, and it's like you should have somebody should have told you, here's a microphone, plug it up to your computer. Um, so it just some of them just it's like it just to me it just amazes me sometimes when you have I mean if we have a guest and they talk through their computer that I think that's fine, but if you are a normal reoccurring person on a podcast, get a good microphone. But yes, the Starboard it's a Pot of Rebellion, which they probably
Okay.
could have done a better name, but it's really good. It's just cool to hear my friends back together again, at
Dawn of
least three of
Rebellion.
them. Huh?
What is the Dawn of Rebellion? What was the first movie?
Oh yeah, you're right.
What was it called?
Dawn of the Rebellion.
So it's just part of the rebellion.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense now. Look at you pulling facts out.
Yeah.
You can do
Yeah.
it when you're not having
I
to
could
think
do
about
it.
it.
Right. When I'm not making a point. I could do it when I need to correct you.
Right, exactly. You're like, hey, you messed that word up.
Yeah. Social meter.
You're right.
That Louisiana accent, and we'll finish after this. That Louisiana accent is something special. I swear. There's a guy I sent you on social media who plays it up for comedy's sake.
Yeah.
Like Alex Morris. No, it's not Alex Morris. Alex something comedy. But I mean, he just goes through and he does all these skits, for lack of a better term, or he's just trying to be like a Louisiana boy and he's got this thick accent. I'm like, what is that thing?
What's he saying there?
That's one of the most unique accents I think in the entire country.
Yeah.
That's not indigenous, I would say.
Right.
White people accent. It's just such weird accent.
I got a cousin that my wife still after 10 years is just like, what did she say?
I'm sure.
Yeah. Because she's barely left the bayou, never plans on never leaving. And it's just thick.
It's just an interesting accent. Like,
Yeah.
can't say any more than that. But
Shoot them.
what does that mean?
Oh, you never watched Swamp People?
No, I don't.
Oh, one of the guys hunted alligators, and that was one of his catchphrases was shoot them.
So you're saying shoot them though. Or shoot
Right.
him.
Shoot them.
But that's
SC, huh?
but that's not what I'm talking about. Like instead of saying plug, they'll say pludge.
Yeah.
So I mean
I
it's
gotta
just
go. Yeah, gotta go make some groceries. What?
what does that mean?
I'm gonna go to the grocery store.
Oh. Okay. Well, thank you for listening to Smuggler's Galaxy podcast. If you could please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. It really helps us out and points people to a show. You can follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We'd love feedback. We'd love to make you part of our show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. People collect for the love of it. Hashtag vote with your wallet. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. Hope you had a great St. Patty's Day. This is the way.
This is the way.